beautiful vegans. It's MQ. So I go by MQ also, or Mariquita or Mariquita or a billion other nicknames. So what's it like behind the scenes with me? What's my day to day and what am I really like? I mean, that those are good questions. I am someone with a lot of energy and I've always been that way. And you might think that I was born the way I am now, but I was not. I was very, very frightfully shy. I always thought I was going to be kidnapped as a little girl. My parents would they kind of instilled fear in me, not on purpose, but probably to maybe on purpose, but trying to make sure that I stayed close to them. And so what it taught me was like the world is a bad place. And it's a place where people are going to come and get you and steal you away from your family. So that really held me back in many ways. And it really, um, it didn't help in my where I am today, where I am a leader and as a coach. Those times, I mean, those were hard times to come up over, like to leap over that hurdle that I had of not believing in myself as a little girl and being afraid. And that is something that I'm thankful I'm past now through many years of help, self help, and help from other people. That's very important as a feminine empowerment coach and as a joyful relationship coach and as a vegan empowerment coach. It's necessary to reach out to other people. And I tell my clients that we've got to be connected and we're doing what we can to help others, regardless of who shows up. Like, regardless of who shows up for this live stream, everything's okay. I'm still going to go on the live stream. I'm still going to tell my story. I'm still going to share insight with you. And it's beautiful because I'm living from my heart. I'm living from what I want to do. And that's what I do. And that's what I, as a vegan empowerment coach, it really, it's what I teach my clients to do, this journey of self love. Because the more you love yourself, the more you're going to be able to be a more effective advocate for animals. So I have a, a non vegan boyfriend. We'll talk about that in a minute. I have my brother who's vegan. He went vegetarian first, I guess. We both saw Meet Your Meat. He shared it with me in 95. And I was horrified to find out what was going on with animals. I was just disgusted. I had in previous years I had said that I would never be vegetarian. My friends were vegetarian. I thought they were crazy. You might have heard the story before. Yeah, in college, one of my good friends said he was vegetarian. I didn't want to hear anything about it. I just was worried about him. But when I watched Meet Your Meat in 95, and that was probably, so I graduated in 85, and that was from high school. So who's good at math? I was 15 when I graduated from high school, I think, or 16. Anyway, so 26, is that right? Yeah, 95, 26 is when I went vegetarian. And thankfully, I am at my brother's house today, and we had a nice vegan lunch. Thankfully, my brother and his girlfriend are vegan, and that's wonderful. I mean, it's very supportive. I'm very, very lucky in that aspect. A lot of times I come over here and have lunch with my brother and do live streams from here. He's not like me at all. He is kind of serious. Doesn't want to get on camera. I said, "Come on up." He said, "If you want to do my work for me, then then I'll help you with yours." And I said, "Well, that's all right." So yeah, so I'm very lucky in that aspect. Normally, I get up, I check in with my clients. I also work with We Did It. Well, let me say something about my clients. They are amazing people. They come to me because they want to take action in their life, and we work together to see what's stopping them. I just started the group of activists kind of have of activists in my coaching program, and they're really, we just set our goals and what we're moving towards in 3 months. It's exciting. I love it, and I'm inspired by it. I mean, working with people keeps me going. So it's wonderful. If you want to reach out and hear about that later, please do. Because the more we stand together, the more we can be effective in our vegan movement. So now I've gone off course, and I don't know what I was going to tell you, but hmm, if anybody's watching, and you can redirect anyway. I don't have a guest on here except for me, myself, and I. So yeah, I was just telling you about my brother. My sister is not at all vegan. She doesn't want to hear it. We tried to introduce veganism to my mom and dad years ago, and I mean they did eat vegan, but they never were fully vegan. They were from Mexico, and they were really very traditional. They were not, you wouldn't say they were animal lovers, but they look what they raised. So they raised two vegan children, one hopefully vegan child in the future, and I'm just love them so much. So, and my dad, we were able to trick him many times. He's not here now. He's up in the spirit sky. So hopefully he's not getting mad at me. So yeah, he would say, well, he said, don't bring me that, don't bring me a vegetarian burger or anything. And my brother would say, just go to Burger King and get, and so get the impossible. And I did. And my dad ate it. He didn't know the difference. So yeah. And he did the best he could. And I have to have compassion for him because very old school, very set in ways. And he was on high blood pressure medicine. And luckily he lived for, I mean, a good amount of years. So my mom didn't, she didn't exercise. She had the standard American diet, which she, well, in Mexico, when my parents grew up in tiny little towns in Mexico. Um, and we're talking tiny towns. When I would go visit as a little girl, we would stay at my dad's family's house, and both of them had big families, and um, they were like 13 kids, more, I mean 13 or more children. So when I was a little girl, we'd stay at my parents' house in Mexico, and I mean my dad's, and it wouldn't have any electricity, and I just remember kind of being scared, you know. I mean, I was used to this American standard, right? And as a little girl going to Mexico and staying somewhere where we really didn't even have flushable toilets, and this was a long, I mean this was when I was born in 67, so probably in 77 this was happening. And but yeah, so I have to remember they came from that place where they were, I'm sure they had their own farm doing their own thing with animals, and they just weren't brought up to see. I mean, like in those days it was a different thought, and I'm just thankful that they were loving to me. But like I said before, my brother's vegan, and I'm happy about that. And we always have vegan Christmases and Thanksgivings, and so that's a blessing. On the other hand, my boyfriend of 6 years is not vegan. So he's doing his best, and it's a big challenge for him. There's all the outside influences always, and the addictions to food, just like we all have. I mean, if we're eating meat, then we're pretty much addicted. I mean, meat has so many additives in it to cause us to have these cravings and the processed food. So I have to really keep my mouth shut about it. I mean, it's really hard for me as a vegan empowerment coach, and as this is what I was going to say, as working with, I work for We Did It Health also. It's really, really hard for me to see my boyfriend eating all sorts of stuff that really hurts him, you know. And I have to just be compassionate and realize that um, well, he's on his journey just like I was. And I have to, I mean, I wish I could bite my tongue more than I do, but it's really, you know, I'm knowing that just like many, many, many of my friends are suffering. There's so many people out there suffering, not just him, that aren't aware of it. And then going to the doctor, and the doctor doesn't, the doctor doesn't know. And the doctor will say, "Oh, well, you're doing okay." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what in the world is going on here? How can a doctor say you're doing okay? When we've got all these issues." And I'm not saying he has a lot of health issues. I'm saying that there are health issues related to yogurt. The doctor told him the other day yogurt was fine. Oh, and I just wanted to scream. But, it's very hard for me, and it breaks my heart. And like I said, everyone's on their own journey, and I have to be respectful of that. So, and I have to, again, celebrate what he is doing. He loves tofu, and he loves black beans. He loves vegetables. And so we don't live together. Um, and he loves when he's at my house, we cook vegan, and I cook vegan, and he loves it. So thank God for that. Thank God for that. And I'm just trying to honor everyone's journey. And as a vegan empowerment coach, I really need to walk the walk. And sure, I need to be gentle with myself when I don't walk the walk and just say, "Oops, I slipped up," and apologize, right? Apologize for maybe speaking out of turn, and knowing that I'm perfectly imperfect and that I'm doing my best. So, but yeah, so when I get up every morning, I really try to inspire myself by just letting everything go, allowing everything to be in the hands of the universe, right? No forcing, no nothing. Just allow me to be the vessel, right? Through that the vegan word can be spread, that my coaching can be spread, right? This vegan light. That's what I want to, and that's what I aim to do every day. So I don't always do it, but I try my hardest to do it, to let go. And like they say in AA, let go and let God. That's a very, God is a word that some people, and it's a very charged word for some people. I grew up very Catholic, and so the Catholic Church was not a very good fit for me. And now I go to Unity, and that's different because for me, God and the way that the Unity Church sees God is God could be a light, right? God could be a tree. God could be the vegan goddess, whatever you want God to represent in your life. And for me, that is so beautiful. And it's such a blessing that I found this safe space to be in. So let's see. Oh, I got some comments coming in. Let me take a look here. I'm not sure who it is, but give StreamYard permission. I should have said that in the beginning to use your name. And it says, "I first learned about vegetarian about 50 years ago in Zurich from two sisters, daughters of the biggest butcher in Zurich, Geyser Butchers. His daughters got enough from this, so they became vegetarian. That time, vegan was not known." Yeah. PETA just started in the US, and there were the Hare Krishna who did much for the animal rights movements. And one of these sisters introduced me to Hans Roosh, one of the animal rights activists of the first hour. And so on my way, I can't read the rest of it, but gosh, that's beautiful. Thanks for watching. It sounds like you have a great history, with veganism. Beautiful. I'd love it if you would come on this show and talk about it. We need to have guests that want to share their vegan stories to inspire, guests that have been around and able to see the change, like Light from Gentle World was sharing his vegan story of 50 years and how he couldn't even believe that things were labeled vegan in the store, because when he first became vegan, there was nothing there. So it's so important that we share our stories to inspire others. Um, and that's what this live stream is about, inspiring other people. So, so I don't know what I was saying now. Oh, about my boyfriend and how my struggles, and that is a lesson every single day for me. It's a lesson in activism. My boyfriend is here for me to practice my activism skills, to practice my relationship skills, communication skills, not to push him away from veganism or whole food plant-based diet, but to see if I can maintain myself and my behavior in a graceful, loving way as an attractant to our movement, right? And that's why he is here. And I honor him for that. I honor him and his process, his journey. I don't condemn him. I mean, I scream and cuss and a lot in my mind, but I am able to control myself because I have practiced a lot. All right. And I luckily was born with a lot of compassion, a lot of not compassion for myself. That was developed throughout the years, but with a lot of compassion for others. And I also was born with a lot of patience. So that's another thing that serves me and in my role as a being an empowerment coach. It's essential that we have compassion for other people. If we don't have compassion for others, they're not going to listen to us. They're not going to care what we have to say. They're just not going to. And I had to learn compassion for myself on my journey. And I've given up beating on myself. Sure, I mean, this has come from years and years and years of self-hatred, 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 looking at everything that was wrong with me. One of my boyfriends used to say, he thought I was perfect. And he was like, I wonder what's wrong with you. And that set this fear off inside of myself, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to hide who I really am. That was the beginning of, I guess, of like this awareness of the self hatred and that dating experience made me change into who I am today because I couldn't take it anymore. After he was gone, I picked up that what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me every day? So I didn't need him around anymore to find what was wrong with me because I was really good at finding it. So so now I'm off track again. I need someone here to help me. I should have written notes, but I'm not very good with notes. So anyway, um, the journey, the journey, and I don't even know where I was on the journey, but okay. So what I did want to talk about was We Did It Health, which is wonderful, and that fell in my lap, and that's what I do behind the scenes every morning. I work with them scheduling live stream guests and talking with wonderful, amazing people. And We Did It Health is to bring people together for community and to be better ambassadors, whole food plant based ambassadors for this movement, right? To bring together the whole food plant based people and the vegans, to bring us all together, the environmentalists that are vegan together. We have to be united. And so it's wonderful that I am a part of We Did It Health. And I encourage you all to look it up, please, online and go take there's a scoreboard up and there's a one question scoreboard. I know we're working on our website. If it's not up right now, please check it out later. We've got to get the message out that veganism and eating the living foods of the earth is what heals. So that's what I do in the mornings. Work with Peter Goldstein of We Did It Health and Dr. Angela Crawford. We've got such a great panel, and just Sally Lipsky. And we've got Susan Sparks, copywriter. She does an amazing job for us. And Mac, and I can't remember his last name, but he's really good also with the video editing and things like that. So behind the scenes. So that's what I'm doing, and also working with my coaching clients. And I'm also thinking about and starting new group coaching programs. So let me know if I'm going to be asking, what would you like to see in a group coaching program? The one that I just started was about activism. So 3 months to a goal, right? What's your activist goal in 3 months? So I had another one, 3 months vegan mastery, working on yourself, your inner work to up level who you are, to stand in confidence, to stand in peace so that you're able to deliver the vegan message effectively. And I love working with my clients, reaching out with them. And I am so thankful. I've only been doing vegan empowerment coaching for a year, and I've met so many wonderful people. It just is amazing. And the fact that I know so many beautiful people because I've been so blessed by you all, I'm able to connect my clients to other people and other resources that they might need. And I don't take that lightly, the blessings that I've had in my life. Beautiful. So now I am going to tell you about what happened last week, I think it was. Yeah, last week with my little dog, Louie. So let me get him. He's asleep. And I told him he's going to have to come on air since my brother won't. Louie, come here. Uh-oh. So last week, Louie usually is a late riser. And I got him from the from the DeKalb, actually, DeKalb County Services. He was there about a week. And I went in, he was a cutie, and then I'd like to adopt him. And they said, okay, well, he has heartworm. And I thought, what? I thought heartworm was that was it, a death sentence. But they said no. So he had to be calm for probably 9 months, 6 months, and take his heartworm medicine, which I think has like arsenic in it, which was very hard on him. So he was able to come through that. He did develop a horrible liver problem during that time where I was scared that we might lose him, that his liver might not. Well, we didn't know what was going on, and his liver values were very high. But thank God that was able to be turned around. But just this past Thursday, little Louis got up early. He usually gets up about 9, and then he woke up at 6 and wanted to go outside. And he walked outside. He stood at the door and just was kind of standing there. It was just drizzling a tiny bit. And I thought, well, maybe he doesn't want to go outside. So I just picked him up and put him out, and then went back and I was looking for him. He wasn't coming in. He wasn't coming in. And I didn't um I didn't even know what to think. And I looked out there and I saw him, and he was just like this, wobbling around and just this dazed look on his face. And I grabbed him up and brought him inside. And he was panting. It was very scary. He was panting very fast, and his heart was beating very fast. And his gums were white. I didn't know what was going on. And he wasn't, he was just definitely not coherent. And then he lost control of himself and of his bowels, um and and I thought I was going to lose him. I didn't know what to do, and I put him down on the bed, and I ran and got my clothes on, and we went to the vet. And I thought, this is a seizure. This has got to be a seizure, but I never saw a seizure like this. He was just completely out of it, and put him in the car. And yes, he started coming back eventually. After a few minutes, but I mean, it was dark at that time. This happened very early in the morning, so I don't know exactly when he came back. But yeah, it was very, very scary. And thank God he's okay. And they did all sorts of testing the liver again, which was a little bit elevated, and testing, well, blood work, all sorts of other things. Another one to make sure he didn't inherit anything. I mean, yeah, anything in his from his family, but nothing. And I'm just holding the energy that he's okay, that it's not going to happen again. If it does, then most likely we're going to have to go on seizure medicine. He's only 3, so he's young and he's full of life. I mean, he's a very good boy. He's very good. He was crate trained, potty trained, just very a good boy. The other night he ran after a possum, which is like one of my favorite animals in the yard. And I was like, oh my gosh, no. And I yelled at him, no. And he stopped and came back. Thank God. The poor possum was in the corner, terrified. But the fact that Louis did listen to me, was a very good boy. So we're praying that he's not going to have any more seizures. So please put the good energy out there for us, because he deserves a healthy, happy life. Um, and that's Louie. And Louie actually is named after my best friend. This is a great segue into it, because I was thinking I wanted to talk about him. Now, I might, well, like, this makes me tear up too. My best friend, who I love so much, he passed away suddenly a couple years ago, and with atherosclerosis. And I've talked about this before, but we were very close. I would always talk to him in the afternoons on the phone. We used to live together, not live together, but when I lived in New Mexico, we would always see each other. And I moved away from New Mexico to Atlanta to be with my family, my brother over here closer, and it was very hard for me to leave my best friend. And I called him Little Chimp. So his name was Louis, and named after my little Louis. And we worked together in a restaurant at that point, and he ate that restaurant food, the standard American diet every day. So it was just, I mean, that's what happened. I mean, the atherosclerosis, which I can't say, is he died of a heart attack one night. He came home from work and wasn't feeling well. And I was going to call him that day, and I didn't. And of course, then you go through that guilt. Why didn't I call him? Why didn't I call him? And I wish I had, but nevertheless, I didn't call him that afternoon because there was something going on. Hey, Jen and Don. Um, so anyway, yes, that night he he passed away. He had a heart attack. And so that's why it's so important for me to get the word out about whole food, plant-based living and veganism, right? If you want to take the first step to veganism, that's great. And then go to whole food, plant-based if you can, eating these foods of the earth, because that was my best friend and he was gone like that, not even 50, 48, full of life. He and I were so alike in that we always laughed and we would listen to disco music and dance, and then that picture of me in the mud was when we played mud volleyball together in Albuquerque. That was one of the best memories that I've had, just getting in the mud and playing mud volleyball. I love doing crazy stuff like that. Not too crazy, but fun stuff, right? And to have lost a good friend by that way is just terrible. And I know it was the standard American diet. And 1 out of 3 people die of a heart attack from the standard American diet. So it's my mission to educate people and to educate myself so I can be ready for those people that are sick and that need healing. So it's so important as vegans that we're ready with the knowledge. And that's what I do behind the scenes. I'm working at my church. I mean, not working, but volunteering at my church. I stepped up to lead the healthy living group, which is so important to me. So I'm going to be spreading again whole food, plant based living to my church. And I'm going to be doing it in a gentle, kind way. And I also am the leader of the animal ministry at my church, that really where I work to spread the news about um, animals and every animal life is important. Every single life is important. And I love that. I know. And I love vegan knowledge. So this is a great channel to subscribe to on YouTube. And that's why Jennifer and Dawn spread the message too. She says, yes, let's help heal. It's why I dedicate every moment of my spare time to this message. Yes, and she is going to be a guest on my live stream too. So that's going to be a great segment. So please subscribe to her channel and hit subscribe here too. But it's crucial. There are too many people that are getting sick, and we have so many people behind the scenes that are helping others, that have turned their lives around. Comment if you've turned your life around by eating whole food, plant-based, please. And if you're ready to step up to eating more living foods, just add a little bit more living foods into your diet, because I don't want anybody to end up like my best friend, Little Chimp. That's what I called him, Little Chimp. I loved him so much. And, well, I'm sure he's here in spirit laughing at me and saying, you go, girl. I mean, I know he is. So this is in honor of him. And yeah. So, I mean, that's what I do. I mean, spread the animal message at my church, the food message at my church, and what else do I do in my spare time? I mean, I love to go hiking and being outside and connect with nature and hugging trees. I met someone the other day who said that she loved hugging trees, and I said, well, I do too. It really is empowering when you feel that strength of a tree and you connect with nature. It really lifts you up. because I wasn't always like this. I used to be sad, um, and depressed because I didn't believe in myself. I hated myself. I'm not enough. That's who I was. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. And so my foundation was built on I'm not enough. And the world is a mean place. They're cruel. They know I'm not enough. So what's going to happen to me when I go out in the world? They're going to see I'm not enough and it's not going to be good for them. So they're going to judge me. So what's my fate? I'm never going to get anywhere. That was what I believed. That was my life before. But when I had enough, I mean, when I had physically enough and emotionally enough of my boyfriend telling me that, what's wrong with you, and the relationship breaking up and then back and forth, and this is an ex, that was when I said, I can't handle this anymore. My God, I can't live like this anymore. I can't live beating myself up anymore. There's got to be a way out. And I found it. So I recommend that you get Self Compassion, Kristen Neff. And I don't do that anymore. If I start to say something ugly to myself, I just say, oops, all right, let's turn it around. Let's turn that behavior around and let's start having compassion. So, and someone's asking, what church is it? So I go to Unity North. And then I know I'm not sure, Unitarian. There's a Unity Unitarian. Am I saying it right? Universalist Unitarian Church also, but I go to Unity, and they're all over. And the good thing about Unity, which unfortunately isn't told at much, but the founders were whole food plant based, and they healed themselves. Like one of them, um, now I can't remember the name, Fillmore, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. And Myrtle, I think she want to say she had tuberculosis or some chronic big ailment, and she healed herself by the power of meditation and praying. Like she would pray like 8 hours a day, and she healed herself. But no, they were supportive of whole food plant based. They made sure not to have the Bibles. They were not made out of leather. So another reason to be a part of this wonderful church Unity, where you can pray to the trees if you want to. We have our services outside when it's nice, and oh my gosh, it's a tremendous blessing. So find a place that you can, that connects with your soul, right? Whether it be Unity or not, or start something up. Start up a meetup group, maybe a vegan meetup group, a spiritual one. That would be a wonderful thing to do. So, I got to remember what I promised to share here. I think oh yeah, what were like my biggest vegan failures? Well, the biggest vegan failure I think was just always not allowing people on their journey. Probably with my sister, continually trying to get her to be vegan. Or I mean, I think I probably turned her off from it, but of course that's normal. That's very natural for us to turn our families off, because when we become vegan we want to share it and we get excited and we tell them and they don't want to hear it, and we think, why don't you want to hear it? Don't you care? And then we get mad. And so I mean, that probably was my biggest failure. And now it's very hard, and hopefully she's not watching, which pretty much I'm sure she's not. But yeah, it's very hard for me to go to her house and to see that she's in bad health, and to see that, there's all sorts of unhealthy food in the fridge, and it's just contributing to the horrendous health. It's very, very hard for me to see. And then my nephews, it's very sad, and I have to bite my tongue. But anyway, so look, I'm seeing a great comment here. Canterbury Cathedral has a special priest who always made animal rights sermons, but now he's retired. But his videos on YouTube are amazing. Well, that's wonderful. What's that channel? Because I'd love to watch that. There's also the Compassion Consortium, which is with Victoria Moran. That's hers. And allcreatures.org with my friend Tams. She's in Athens, and I recently met her in person because I live in Atlanta, Georgia. And So that's another great group, allcreatures.org. So if you need a spiritual place, they are out there, and it's important. I mean, the spirit of veganism is beautiful, and I believe in it. I believe the spirit of veganism. Yes, and all right. So now I know that this is Jen saying, I think it's hard because we care. Yeah, it's hard. It's like watching them kill them, continue to hurt themselves with food. Yeah, it's very, very hard to watch family members do that. And I was talking, I think before you got here, Jen, about my boyfriend, or maybe you were listening, but yeah, about my boyfriend and how just it's heartbreaking to see and to know. And this is what I was going to say. It's like, so here we are. I mean, we go to the store. I mean, a typical American person on the standard American diet. We go to the store and we buy the brownies, we buy the Danishes, which are just desserts packaged as breakfast food. I remember reading that recently in that Fat, Sugar, Salt book, I think. So we're really just being misled at every turn. And so we're buying these foods that are highly processed and full of sugars, and just we're being addicted, right? And so when we get the health, when we become sick, we have to go to the doctor, and then we get the pills, and then we have to pay the big bucks for the pills to hopefully get well or hopefully maintain at some level of normalcy, which is not optimal. And to see people that are living longer, like my friend Dr. Akil Teher, who's an inspiration. If you don't know about him, check him out. um, he was saying how we live longer, yes, but I mean, we're not thriving. Yeah, we might be living to 95, but we're on all sorts of pills and can't walk to the bathroom. We're in walkers, and it's terrible. So yeah, and so the whole system it makes me sick. The system of go to the store, get this food that's been approved by the government, and it doesn't even qualify as food. Does it even qualify as food? When I go to the store, I feel depressed. I feel sad, and I have to stay in the living food section and I look in people's carts and I think, my gosh, look at all this dairy, right? And I think about um, the China study that talks about the casein in the milk with and the cheese, right? That the more casein, the more the cancer cells grow, right? And when you take away when you take away that milk, right, then the cancer cells lessen. So yeah, it's on and off. And so I see people in the grocery stores and I feel so sad. I want to get a whole bunch of vegan clothes. I'm actually so busy all the time, y'all, doing Zoom calls and connecting with people. And one of the things I really want to do is to get more vegan clothes. So I need to take some time to do that because I want to be wearing a big V. I wish I could have it plastered over my head, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. So, but yeah, because I feel like it would start it would bring up a lot of discussion. So I'm going to get on the ball about getting some vegan clothes. I do have some, but not enough. So, um, but yeah, let me go back to one thing I wanted to tell you about. Dr. Akil Teher is a fabulous heart doctor. He was a guest on my show, and I just went to lunch with him the other day. He was practicing one of his talks for us, for the lucky ones that were invited to his house. He in his 60s. Well, let's see. He had to have stents, and I think at 61 is when he had bypass surgery. I might be getting the dates wrong, but I think he had stents for a couple years. And that didn't change his way of eating. No, but he ended up having bypass surgery and then said to the nurses as he was going into the operating room, if I make it, then I'm going to run a half marathon in I don't remember how many months, but he came out, he did it. He hiked Mount Kilimanjaro, which is freaking amazing. And he's in his 70s now and he's still going strong. His wife made us a beautiful, healthy, and a very beautiful, colorful meal of food last week. It was just an extraordinary experience. And that's what I mean. As a vegan empowerment coach, when I stepped into this realm last year, It's only been about a year that I've been so blessed to meet so many beautiful people. I'm so honored to meet every one of you all is special to me. And going to Dr. Akil's house was amazing. So I encourage you to look him up. Check out, I have on my YouTube channel, he's on there, my interview with him. And his book is Open Heart. And he talks about his junk food vegan diet, how he didn't care about anybody. He just ate, and I mean, the way he changed from the outside and the inside on his journey. And everything he does is to really help promote healthy living. And he talks about his son that's in medical school, who I guess he said needed to have 20 hours of nutrition, but they don't even have to have 20 hours of nutrition. Either he or his son told me. And of course, it's really depressing. So, I mean, I don't want to get into that problem focused. It's sad, yes, and it's depressing, yes. But what's the solution? We're the solution, right? And that's why I spend my days working with We Did It Health and setting up these interviews, meeting these people, getting the word out there, right? Coaching my clients. Sometimes I work 12 or 13 hours a day, and it's been like that for, I mean, a lot in the past few days where I'm just exhausted. But it's so rewarding. And I do take the weekends to have time for myself. Sometimes I do the interviews with the guests on We Did It, but most of the times I don't. Most of the times on the weekends with my boyfriend and with my dog, doing, like this weekend we're going to do Universal Dances of Peace at Unity, which is another blessing. Our Unity has a lot of great groups, and that's one of them. My boyfriend plays a djembe drum, and he plays for the Universal Dances of Peace. And I dance. I'm not a dancer, but I do it to support him and to support them, and I like it. It's fun. So I'm always doing the wrong step, but who cares? It's fun. And of course, we're celebrating the trees and we're celebrating the earth. How can that go wrong? It can't. There are no wrong steps when it comes to that. And so that's another wonderful thing. Also, I'm going to be starting the organic garden and working with them at my church. So I'm going to have organic food. And so, yes, Jen is asking how people can reach out to me for coaching. So I do one-on-one coaching, and that is when I work with people really closely to find out what's going on behind the scenes. Like, what's the underlying belief? Like, my underlying belief was I'm not enough. And what's the real belief? The real belief was I am a child of the universe and I am more than enough. The only thing that was blocking me was me, not seeing my beauty, right? So I want you to see your beauty. If you're watching this and you're thinking that you're in the I'm not enough or I'm invisible, then that's what I do. I work with people one-on-one to get past that, to get into the greater story and to make it happen. So people can reach out to me, mariquitasolis.com. I mean, or under, just DM me on Facebook, direct message me, Mariquita Solis coaching at gmail.com is where you can email me also. But I'm on Facebook and YouTube message me also. I also have group coachings. Like I just said, the activist program just started, and they are just freaking doing some, like, we're talking big level work at the end of 3 months. We're not talking small stuff. We're talking big stuff that they're setting their, they're setting their goal for. Right. So I'm so honored to be a part of that. And we're going to have another coaching program. You let me know, definitely, if you want me to start up a coaching program, what you would like it to center around. So I've got the Vegan Mastery again, which is mastering ourselves, all of us, and our inner work for 3 months, and the activist program, working towards a goal. And who knows what else, but I'm going to be thinking, creating, right? I think I'm going to be putting together a free challenge, and that would be a week-long challenge for activism. Like, we'll get together on Monday and you'll have a goal and we'll get it done by Friday. So that would be a fun little project that we could do in a week. So whatever you would want to do, though, you'd be working towards your goal and getting it into action. So I would be supporting you, and that would be free. That's something I'm putting it putting in the works up here. So also let me know if you have anything else that you would like to see from me, any videos. I've overcome a lot of dystopia. I When I watched Meet Your Meat years ago, that was in 95. There's some things I can't, not see. That the images, I'm not going to describe them, but they still haunt me today. And I have to say, those animals are in peace, and they are okay now. I'm also having a grief Zoom call that I do for my church, and as the leader of the animal ministry, that's tonight. If anybody's watching, that's monthly, every month, the second Thursday at 7 Eastern Standard Time. And let me just tell you this story that one of my beautiful friends told me. She said that her little dog, Shanti, developed an illness really quick, got very quick, very sick very quickly. And she had to take Shanti to the vet. And the vet said, that's it. We can't do anything for Shanti. Um, and so she was crying and she was holding Shanti, and they were saying their goodbyes and letting Shanti go. And when she looked over, so my friend is very intuitive. She has a gift. When she looked over, she saw Shanti's little spirit rise up like a puppy, and just in the in the energy, she saw Shanti. And that makes me feel so good for all the beautiful animals out there that are suffering, and that that are moving on. That I think about little Shanti and her spirit rising, and I think about all the animals being set free. So that's a beautiful story. And then she also had my little dog, Mickey, who passed away a year ago, come to visit her also, my friend. She saw Mick, and she said she knew it was Mick because he had his sweater on, and he was very happy, playing like a puppy. And that touched my heart. And when I was with the energy healers at Unity, so I go to the energy healing there, and this was another blessing. They said, look who came into the room. And this was right when Mick had passed. And I looked around and I didn't see anyone. And they said, Mick just came in. So, and that was like, I'm going to start crying. I should have brought Kleenex, but that was so beautiful to me that little Mickey had come. And there were times that he would come many times to energy healing to be a part of that and receive energy from the healers. They loved him. And so that was a tremendous blessing to hear that. I mean, to hear that the animals that are in the factory farms, they will be released into beautiful peace and joy, like Mickey and Shanti and all the other animals. It makes me feel safe, and I feel like, yes, that everything is going to be okay. Those animals will be in peace, and I'm so thankful that I know about this, and just hearing about these stories makes me feel good. When I see an animal on the road that's passed, I just say, thank you for the joy you brought the world. And that's how I move forward, right? I just honor that animal. And I got this from Carol Saunders, I think it was Reverend Carol Saunders, in one of her podcasts. She's a great one to reach out to. She's a unity minister, and a vegan unity minister. And then there's Reverend Dina. She's a beautiful minister too, also, not unity, but she's another minister to reach out to, vegan, and she's really working hard too, every day behind the scenes to get the word out, really work to her congregation. And she's an uphill battle, just like for all of us, right? You would think in church it might be easier, but it's not. It's just not easier. So nevertheless, we're all working behind the scenes. And even if I'm putting in, a 12-hour day, 13-hour day, I love it because it's my mission. And thank God I have the energy for it. I'm 55, and thank God I'm in good health, I mean, knock on wood. I mean, I'm doing everything I can. And sure, I have my days when I eat Impossible burgers or a bunch of junk because I'm a human being. right? I'm in this human experience. I'm imperfectly perfect, and that's okay. I do the best I can, right? And I don't beat myself up. I just say, get back on the horse. You fell off the horse, get back on it, or just say, hey, eat whatever you want, right? I mean, my goodness, it's all right. Life is good. I do what I can, but I really am devoted to my veganism. And this has been a journey. I wasn't always, I mean, I was vegan, vegetarian, and then vegan. So it was when I wasn't supported or I wasn't supporting myself enough with outside circle that I went back to vegetarian. It was also the addictions. And um so but now I'm just like I can't even imagine that. So yeah, there's a it's just the beauty. Everyone has their own journey, and everybody's story is important. You have power in your story. So please know that. Everything you're doing, share your story. That's the most powerful thing you have with people. They don't want to hear stats usually. Most of the time we think we need to get all these stats down and get out the charts. People want to hear about you. They don't, and to say it from like, this is how I changed my life, and not to say, oh, this is what you should do, but no, this is what works for me. That's not threatening. I love being a vegan because I love eating the fruits from the food of the earth, all the natural foods of the earth. Look at me, I'm 55, but I'm ready to go run a marathon, right? And that's my choice. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just celebrating me, right? And who could be offended by that? Me celebrating myself in my life, right? And look at what Jen say. Yeah, got to have some vegan junk. Laughing out loud. It's still healthier than eating meat and dairy. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Of course, you don't want to be eating vegan junk all the time, but every blue moon, why not? Whatever, just celebrate, right? I made a little vegan cake the other day, and it was with applesauce, and it was still good, but I don't eat that way every day. So I eat a lot of tofu, a lot of tofu and tortillas. And what else do I eat? A lot of vegan soup with just veggie soup with vegetables and some rice. It's very boring, but I love it. And I put a little, this might sound weird, but maybe it's not weird. Ginger, chopped fresh ginger in it, and sriracha. It's so freaking good. If you like sriracha, which I do, and I love ginger, two things that I love, and then I put them in my soup. And with the veggie, I have some veggie broth that I'm making in the rice. It's super good, and I know that I could eat a lot of that, and it's not going to make me feel heavy or make me heavy. It's going to nourish my body. A lot of times we've forgotten that food is for nourishment. Food isn't, well, the standard American diet doesn't say it's for nourishment really. It's but food is to nourish our bodies, and we've stepped away from that idea, and that's why the animals do get the last laugh in the end, because they do us in with the standard American diet. They're killing us. We might kill them, but they're getting us back, right? We're suffering like in our older age for years and years and years with these chronic diseases, right? Because our bodies aren't meant to eat this kind of food. Our bodies are not meant to digest meat. And yeah, so the animals do get the last laugh in the end. And it's sad. It's sad at all of our expense, because that's money that's coming out of our pockets. That's food that can be going to malnourished people in the world, right? We don't have to be living like this. It's very, very sad. And Jen is saying, you get excited like I do. I love your energy. We love this food. It's tasty and you can feel good from eating it. Yes, I know. I get very passionate about this, and I get passionate about my mission on earth, which is to empower as many vegans as possible. So if you're a vegan watching this, please reach out to me. If you're stuck, if you're angry, if you're sad, please reach out to me. Let's talk and see what's blocking you. And maybe you want to sign up for one of my one-on-one coaching, um, one of my one-on-one coaching 3-month sessions or group coaching, right? Let's just talk. I mean, it's time to move forward. We need you in action. We don't need you sitting on the bench. We don't need you being sad or depressed for your own sake and for the animal's sake. We need you up and thriving, right? I'm here to inspire you, to show you how beautiful you are. And I see it in all of you all. And I see it in this world. There's something beautiful about this world, and there always is a lesson to be learned from everything. A lot of us, we're just going through the day and we're not seeing the lessons, right? And another thing is, we're not seeing the beauty in every moment, right? The beauty of being here at my brother's house, having lunch with him, and thank God that my little dog, he survived that seizure the other day and that he's still doing well. No more, we haven't had any seizures since. He's having fun and he's a true blessing. And that I was able to name him after my best friend that passed that I was telling you about. So little Louie he's keeping up the energy of my friend, Little Chimp. That's what I called him, Little Chimp, right? Little Louie, Little Chimp. Because there was a book that I read and there was a chimp. His name, the chimp's name was Louie. So I started calling him Louie, Little Chimp. And he would call me, this is a behind the scenes, Little Chimpette. So, which I loved. And he would always say, oh, you're my little chimpette. Yeah, very dear to my heart. They're people that, and I'm sure that he's just like little Shanti and all the other animals and all the other people that have passed that are living bliss now, and they don't have to be addicted to that standard American diet, right? They can be thriving in the light, right? So I want everyone to thrive in the light, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and that's my mission, to help people, because I was always born to help. I knew that. It took me a long time to learn that I had to help myself first. But now I have, and that's why I'm here. So, y'all, I hope I covered everything I was supposed to cover in the live stream. I might not be a very good guest because the guest didn't cover everything she said, but who knows what else I was supposed to say. Well, I did tell you about my pre-vegan boyfriend. I always say pre-vegan boyfriend, right? Because there's always hope. We're on a journey. And that's what we've got to know. Everyone's on a journey. So you are there to plant a seed, to water a seed maybe that's already been there. Just keep watering those seeds and doing everything you're doing. You all are amazing, and I love you all so much. You inspire me. And now I need another Kleenex. Okay, but I'm not going to cry. I do love you all, and I'm thankful for you. So thanks so much for watching, and someone saying thank you for this beautiful live stream. Thank you all, and I'm sending you love for the rest of the day. Namaste, vegan.